I'm Nia Malika Henderson here with Governor John Sununu, who has emerged as a very prominent and quotable Mitt Romney surrogate. Of course, you were chief of staff in the White House to Reagan.
First George Bush.
First George Bush. Okay.
George Herbert Walker Bush.
So, are you going to be, if Romney is elected, are you going to reprise your role as chief of staff?
I'm not even going to Washington. I'm going back to New Hampshire to play golf and ski.
You're good. Okay. Okay. And so, what do you think? I mean, you're obviously a former governor of New Hampshire. What do you think Mitt Romney has to do to make that state turn red this time around?
New Hampshire will be red. And what I think Mitt Romney has as a strategy, and it's the right thing, is one step at a time between now and Election Day. There's no magic must-do or no Hail Mary pass like the Obama campaign thinks they have to do every day. They have a strategy, they know what they want to do, and they're executing it step by step. And I think as long as they stay on that strategy, they're in good shape.
So there have been times I think you've gotten a little off message from what the campaign probably wants you to say. You made some remarks about Obama not really knowing how to be an American.
Yeah, we were talking about what makes America function. It was a telephone news conference, so to speak. And I was pointing out that there is really a traditional American way that entrepreneurs really come here and feel excited and do things. And I talked about it. It was right after the "you didn't build it" flap. And in there I used the sentence relating really primarily to the idea of how we do it here, that he's got to learn to be an American, because his comment on "you didn't build it" seems so much antithetical to what we really do. And I realized right in that news conference that people were going to suggest that perhaps I was relating to the Donald Trump birther aspect. And so I did make an apology immediately and say I didn't quite use the right words. But I don't, if it had been taken in proper context, there wouldn't be a trouble. But in today's world, people start twittering something and putting a new context on what you say, and I didn't want to let that sit without an apology.
So are you on Twitter at all?
No, I don't trust myself to be on Twitter.
Because there's no telling what you would say.
There's no telling what I might tweet.
In 140 characters. What have been the highlights for you of this convention so far?
Well, I really was impressed. Last night was great, but the night before was even better, I thought. Ann Romney and Governor Christie. But more important, I thought the speakers before them were just a fantastic definition of the current leadership of the Republican Party. You had Mayor Love from Utah, a classic conservative Reaganite, talking about how she found the American dream and what she and her family have done there. You then had Susana Martinez talk a little bit, a great story there. You had then Ted Cruz out of Texas, whose families came from Cuba a little while ago, and then of course Governor Sandoval and his story of his family. And I thought the most impressive speech of the night, it wasn't as long and wasn't as reported as much of the others, were Arthur Davis. Arthur, who nominated President Obama in 2008, expressed his disappointment, and really his message was, you know, don't feel alone if you feel disappointed. But I thought the language he used was really uplifting. And I thought the fact that he was willing to come and do that here this time is very important for the party to show how, you know, there is redemption. You may have been a Democrat in the past,
redemption.
but we can redeem you, and so come on and join us.
So some diversity there on stage, not as much on the floor among delegates.
Well,
why is that? What do you explain that
look,
gap?
The process of inclusion, it takes time, and people are coming to the party. But the point is, those weren't just randomly selected folks. They were elected as Republicans. And Condi wasn't elected, but she spoke last night. I thought her speech was absolutely one of the best, if not the best, of the convention. And when she took us through what the problems of the world are with a United States that is not respected, That may have been the most important single message, other than what we're going to hear from Governor Romney and what we heard last night from Paul Ryan.
You're on the inside track with the Mitt Romney campaign. Tell us what he's going to say tonight.
I honestly don't
You
know.
haven't seen the speech?
I work very hard to be like Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing. And that way, whatever I say...
You can always say...
I can always say...
No,
I really do. And I like the surprise of hearing it. It's not... Look, you and I can sit here and we could probably draft the outline of the speech together. He's going to talk about why America's in trouble with 8.3% unemployment, why 25 million Americans are hurting, unemployed and underemployed, why it is unbelievable that with all these jobs problems, the president really has been just campaigning for a year. If I had a chance to put a paragraph in there, I would say how shocking it is to me to have a president that has a jobs council and with the problems we have today has not met with that jobs council in 7 months. I often put on some of my television and radio interviews, Mr. President, the phone number at the White House is 202-456-1414. Ask the operator and she'll connect you with the job council and make an appointment. How can you have a jobs council and a jobs problem and not meet with them? So I think those are the kinds of things that directly or indirectly will be a strong part of the speech. And then the governor, I think, the most important part of the speech, he has to tell America what he's going to do to fix these issues.
And he has to tell America who he is. Should he mention Mormonism, talk about his faith?
Oh, I think there's nobody who doesn't know he's a Mormon. I don't know if he chooses to say that or not. Look, this is a very private man. This is a man who, like the president I worked for, George Herbert Walker Bush, they're very modest. They don't like to brag about themselves. So I think the bragging aspect was up to Ann and others who have made those presentations. But I think tonight he's at least had his arms twisted enough to talk a little bit about the positive things in his life, about his achievements and how those achievements will relate to solving the disastrous problem the country has today.
Governor Sununu, thanks so much for sitting here with us and chatting.
My
Have
pleasure.
a good time tonight.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All righty.